Hello, Jay. Thank you for
Okay.
being here with us.
Pleasure
We're
to
so
be here.
glad you're
Thanks for having
here.
me.
Yeah, of course. Tell us about your album, the one that you have played all of these songs from.
Nice. Well, it's a second part of a trilogy of albums that I'm releasing
Cool.
right now called the Full Beard Trilogy. And this
Cool.
is the second one. So the first album was Peach Fuzz.
hmm
So basically, it's an album about wanting something and believing it could be there even though you can't see it. The whole
Yeah.
premise of Peach Fuzz, you can't see it, right?
Right.
Then it's in the second phase is shape up. So
Mm-hmm.
once you grow it in, you got to keep it in order. So that's the second installment to this trilogy of
Right.
albums. And this album actually came from a bit of trauma. I began writing this album during a trip that I took to San Francisco. So I got a brother of mine that's been struggling with drug abuse. So my mother and I flew in November of 2021 to go find him. And on that trip, I received a phone call that a good friend of mine, Alonzo Maxwell Rogers,
Yeah.
was shot and killed during that trip. So I was writing it originally to be an album about brotherhood and family and
Right.
searching for the brother. But when I went to find my brother, a brother back home got shot.
Yeah.
So the album has morphed and became more about healing, and finding that peace through trauma.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, we were talking about that earlier.
yeah.
Yeah, that's beautiful. I want you to walk me through each song if that's okay.
Cool. Yeah. Let's do it.
So Smile, bigger person.
Yeah,
Walk me
yeah.
through that.
Well,
Where
that's
did that come from?
actually one of the first songs I started writing when
Okay.
I began to craft this project.
Okay.
And the premise of it was just so I'm planning for this trip to find my brother.
Right.
And I'm trying to write from the lens of like where his headspace has to be at.
Yeah,
To be
putting
in
yourself
some-
in his shoes.
Yeah, putting myself in his
Yeah.
shoes and like so the premise of Smile is like wanting to smile but like struggling with smiling,
Yeah,
So I'm telling
yeah.
the story about essentially like what I've been through, like growing into manhood, but also like looking at my brother's narrative and his story and like trying to remind him to smile. So it's like and also trying to remind myself to smile at the same time.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because like on this journey I'm going to have to find my brother, and there comes a point where you got to remember yourself. And that's what I
Yes.
realized in this piece. Like I'm out here trying to support my family,
Right.
be
Be
there
everything for
be everything
everyone
for everybody
else.
else, but
Yeah.
I'm forgetting to smile for myself.
Yeah.
So that's the premise of the song.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
I love
Remembering
that.
to smile. Yeah.
And then walk me through the next one too. So Kick the Habit.
So
So
Kick
that's
the Habit.
more
So-
talking about addiction.
Yeah,
and-
yeah.
Okay.
So that was specifically about the trip I took to San
Yeah,
Francisco.
for sure.
Right, and like I began to write that song when I came back, but from finding my brother. So it's basically recounting the whole trip that I took to find him,
Yeah.
and also just also me looking at my own addictions, So
Of
for
course.
myself, like I eat too much. That's my thing. Like
I mean,
I
it's the same thing though
yeah.
as like sugar, as nicotine. It can be just as
Yes,
fucking addictive.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I'm looking at my own personal addictions while
Yeah,
I'm
of course.
trying to find my brother, but not come from a lens of judgment.
Right.
'Cause I think that's a challenge, when you're making art like this. Like,
Oh yeah.
talking about
Yeah, the
these.
ego gets involved.
Yeah,
of course.
And then I don't want to be like I'm better than you, or
No. Yeah.
So that was from the lens of like being of support, but also looking at my own
Yeah.
habits I need to kick. You
Yep.
know. So yeah, it's basically recounting that trip and
Yeah.
how it felt to go up there, to San Francisco.
Now tell me about Dry Bones. That's gonna be next.
Yes, Dry
what you're gonna be
Bones.
playing next.
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 Yeah. It's in the course.
Nice. I didn't even try.
You did that. Hey, Knuckles. You did that. So Dry Bones, this song is weird. Like how I
Okay.
wrote this track, right? It's really crazy. So I get
Just
this
like the setup, the composition,
just
just everything. Okay, I'm ready. I'm here. I'm
well,
here for it.
It's weird in the sense of like it's one of those like serendipitous type things,
Okay,
right?
okay.
Where like it kind of wrote itself.
Okay.
So like I got the beat from a friend of mine in Chicago. So real quick. So
Yeah,
the
we
album-
got to go back to that too.
Yeah,
We're gonna
yeah.
be going jumping left
jumping
and
around.
right all over.
So there's three primary producers for this project.
Okay.
Right, I got two of my good friends, Derek and Gene, are videographers.
Mm-hmm.
They produce a third of the album.
And they are from Real Division.
Real
correct?
Division, yeah,
Cool.
the video, yeah.
Real Division. Cool.
So they produce a third of it.
Okay.
I produce a third of it as well.
Cool.
So I produce it myself, and also a producer in Chicago by the name of Mathian.
Okay.
So
cool.
he sent me to beat the Dry Bones, right? So I'm listening to the beat. It sounds like the sticks clacking. It's real like, like jiggy, real cool little production. And it sounds like what I'm looking for, indigenous. That's a word. It sounds
Okay,
real
cool.
indigenous.
Yeah. Ancient.
Ancient,
Yeah.
even,
Yeah.
So I just began writing this verse, and dry bones just come to my mind. I say, dry bones. That's what I'm going to call it. Dry bones, yeah. So I'm sharing it with some of the collective members.
Yeah.
Well,
I know, we got to go back
so
to that
much to go
too.
back
Come
to.
on,
Oh,
come on.
God. Focus. I'm in the collective.
Sorry,
anyway,
we're doing this.
I'm sharing it with some of my friends in the collective, right? Playing the track.
Yeah.
And then, like, they asked me, like, dry bones, that's from the Bible. Like, what? Really? It's like, yeah. Then, like, come to find out, like, the verse that it comes from in the Bible literally is the exact same topic as the song. And I never heard of dry bones.
I don't know this part of the Bible. Can you?
Yeah, so in the
Do you
Bible,
know it?
yes,
Like, okay. I'm sure you do.
Kind of,
Kind of,
yeah.
okay.
So in the Bible, there's a prophet Ezekiel,
Okay,
right?
yeah.
So Ezekiel's like has this crazy vision where he's walking in this valley. It's called the Valley of the Dry Bones.
Okay.
And
okay.
essentially, what happens is, this vision comes to his mind, and he sees these bones grow flesh, and they all come to life, and they become an army, basically.
Holy shit.
Yeah, so it's like a whole story about visualizing like a place of people in a dead-like state,
Okay.
and basically like God is gifted these people life again. So it's basically like a song about
resurrection. Right.
So, yeah.
Yeah.
And what's interesting about it was it's actually in direct relationship to like the Black community, and like how a lot of Black cultures are basically are in a decrepit state in a sense, you know what I mean? Like just low income housing and the projects, all of that stuff, right? So like a lot of Black pastors will refer to that Bible scripture in particular to relate to like the current state of the culture of Black folks, essentially, right?
Yeah.
So I'm writing this with this in mind, having no idea that it'll directly link to the Bible verse, right? So, oh my God. So I wrote half of the song before knowing it, and then I finished it off with the knowledge.
That's so funny. Oh my God.
Yeah. So it kind of wrote itself.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
I think that there's a certain talent that comes with that ability to listen to whatever else is happening outside of this realm of perceptibility, whatever.
Yes.
And I don't think a lot of artists that I've talked to have that ability to just like have that tunnel to
to shut it off and just
bigger.
let something else guide you.
Yeah, that's beautiful.
Yeah,
that's really cool.
Yeah, so that was a guided song, definitely.
Yeah, it was. It sounds like it was totally channeled.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
From the source.
Yeah, from the source.
Yeah.
Well, actually, no, I'm gonna keep going with that because we gotta focus.
Focus, right?
We
Focus.
gotta focus. All right. So the next song too, the fourth song that you're gonna be playing, "Shape Up."
Yes.
All right, talk to me about that.
So that song it's interesting. That's like the beginning of the story.
Okay.
But also like the end of the story as well.
Which is always the same thing.
Yeah.
The beginning is the end.
And it's like, it's the hero's journey, you know.
Just a circle.
Coming back home.
Yeah.
So that piece is actually like the set piece of where I was in the process of making this album. You know, I've been sitting in my living room, like letting dishes pile up, you know, food all over the coffee table, you know.
Yeah.
Like knowing you've been through something but not wanting to take that step to, you know, get out of that situation or out of that state. So the song was about basically getting out of that, you know, realizing that, I got to get up.
Out of the hole.
Yeah, exactly. And and it's dope. I had my mom come in.
I know.
On the
I was
song.
going to ask you about that. I was about to say, I'm like, I don't think you just pulled yourself out. I think somebody else helped pull you out too,
And
which is always the case. We
what
always need each
you
other.
need the next. Yes, it always takes another voice to come and help you.
Right, of course. Just
we're
a
not
little
in this,
bit of influx.
We're not in this alone. That's the key, and that's what's so beautiful about my mom being on the track. Because when you're going through trauma, you're trying to overcome grief. We forget that we're not alone. You know, so I put her into the track, and she's basically yelling at me like she normally does.
The dishes. You're overweight.
You get fat.
She really just threw you under
She would
the
never
bus.
say you overweight. She'll say you fat.
Just straight.
Straight up.
Like, here it is.
You get fat? What you doing?
At least you always know where she stands.
Yeah.
Right. You're like, okay, all right. I can understand the truth here.
Yes.
I think.
Yes.
But it does sound like she does it lovingly.
She does it lovingly.
Is that fair?
Yes.
Okay, cool.
She judges lovingly. It's loving
Thank you,
judgment.
Mama J, for being loving
Thank
and
you,
kind.
Moms. But also, like, the reason I brought her onto the track and had, like, a lot of family members on the album was my goal is for my brother to hear the album, right? So when he hears it, he's hearing that same advice that I'm getting, you know? So, like, I'm going through it, too. We all going through it in some kind of way. So I thought she'd be the perfect person to be on that track. So yeah, mom's on it.
Kind of call him through.
Yeah.
Tell me about him a little bit, if you don't
Okay.
mind.
Yeah.
Is that okay?
So my brother Eric is a big inspiration to this album.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he's a dope, talented artist. He was always one of the best artists that I knew growing up. So I always looked up to him as, being the youngest.
Yeah.
And yeah, so he was in Knoxville up till he turned 17 years old.
Okay.
And basically he got in some trouble around about 17, and he had to flee. So he left Knoxville and he went up to San Francisco at 17 years old.
Yeah, that's young.
Yeah,
that's
real
really
young.
You're still a baby.
Yeah, a child. So and he's been disconnected from the family for ever since. Like we'll call him, send letters and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But you're 2,000 miles away. It's kind of hard for us.
There's not much you can do.
Be there,
Yeah.
But he actually came back home when he turned 23. And I got a good year to spend with him. So when he came back, he left behind this notebook. And sketchbook actually. So the sketchbook had all these really dope drawings in it and just all of his visions and all that stuff. Anyway, and he had to go back to San Francisco. So ever since that, about 22 for me, because he's a year older than me,
Right.
I had this notebook of his, so my brother he was just an inspiration for me. So when it came around the second album, I'm like, I want to write about him and tell his story and like talk about what inspired me, And also it's the second phase in the trilogy, so it's that phase where you're going through angst and you're trying to like figure the world out.
You're navigating the bullshit.
Exactly.
Like the hard stuff.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And I felt like when he was going through that phase of his life, he didn't get the support he needed. So he got into drug use up in San Francisco, and after years and years of being in and out of jail, he basically just disconnected with the family completely. So around 2019, and that's when COVID started to hit real crazy, right?
Yeah, and it got nuts.
Yeah.
Even more nuts.
Yes,
than
absolutely.
It already was.
So around 2019, COVID's going crazy.
Yeah.
Like my mom's watching news all the time, like seeing stuff about California and the death rate up there and all of that. She's like, oh my God, is he dead?
Yeah.
So that's when like mom's like, yo, we got to go up there. She was pushing me to go. So 2020, I took that flight to San Francisco for the first time. So basically, that was, it's kind of a removed relationship, but I always admired my brother, So yeah. But he was a skateboarder, a talented musician. He was a rapper too, and he was also a visual artist. And actually, like this shirt I'm wearing right here.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Paradise. Mm-hmm. So when I say Paradise on the album, I'm talking about my brother, because that was his nickname. His name was Eric Bush, but he went by Paradise, and he had this whole.
That was a self-claimed title.
Yeah, self-claimed title. Yeah,
Which is even more important, I think.
Yeah.
I'm
Yes.
I get it.
Care. You know what I mean? You gotta care about your title, your name. You know what I mean? Anyway.
That's cool though that he named himself that.
And this is actually like a tag he had in his book, so I pulled it directly from the book and made a shirt out of it. But basically, this is me honoring his art and like his influence on me. So like a lot of the merchandise and the things I sell is basically some of the stuff he created. Yeah. So
that's beautiful.
Yeah.
Where does it stand now too?
Where he's at now?
Yeah.
Well, we're back at square one.
Yeah.
The last year we went up there, we got connected with some people that was around him. Because he's struggling with mental health issues right now. Because when you use hard drugs like that,
it screws you up.
Yeah, your mind gets
just distorted.
Yeah,
priorities get moved around and.
Yes.
Yeah.
Extremely. Yeah. So we got connected to like a caseworker that was working with him last year, or 2021 when we went up there.
Yeah.
And he basically just broke away from them, and he's back, I think, in the streets now. So we don't know where he's at right now.
I hope he hears your album.
Yeah, that's the goal.
Because it feels like you're calling him home a little bit.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Absolutely.
I mean, calling yourself home too, if I might insert my opinion. But
absolutely.
It does. It feels like it's a self journey, but it also feels like it's very much connected to the oneness of everything, of everyone around us.
Yes.
I see the turbulence, but I also see the peace, and the stability. It's a beautiful album. It's so good.
Thank you.
Oh my God, it's so good.
Thank you. That means a lot.
What is that? The one song in particular. I mean, I was sitting in the kitchen, like on the floor upstairs, just crying.
Wow.
Life After Death.
Yes.
God, when your dad, y'all need to listen to that. If y'all are listening. The voicemail part.
Yeah.
Where your dad talks. Yeah. That had me.
Yeah.
Tell me about your dad a little bit.
Oh man. Dad, Pops, Big Dennis.
Pops. Is that what you call him, Pops?
Pops.
That's what I call my dad too. Pops.
Well, Pops is amazing. Like, he's one of those guys that if you call him, he's always there.
Yeah.
You know, and I feel like
he's like on a few of the tracks too.
Yeah, he's like
he's
the
very
narrator.
Present. It feels like spiritually in your life.
Absolutely. Yeah, but my Pops is cool. He's like the neighborhood mechanic. You know what I mean? So
just fixing everybody's shit.
Exactly. Something wrong with your car, hit up Dennis. He gonna hook you up, you know. Yeah. So he's always been that person in my life where I can, if I need something, he's gonna be there. You know, he might not have the money. He might be a day late, dollar short. Yeah. But Pops is gonna be there. Yeah. You know, and I feel like our relationship is really what my brother was missing. You know, in his development. You know, because I realized, like, I was the youngest of 3 siblings. Yeah. Right. But I had a different dad than my brother Eric, and my oldest brother. His name's Kendall. Anyway, but it was a clear difference in like how we both came up.
Oh yeah.
Well, all 3 of us came up. Like, I got in trouble once, probably in middle school. Had like the law calling me once, but like I never was in and out of jail, nothing like that. You know, my other brothers though, in and out of jail all the time. Really? Yeah, always. You know, like struggling with drug abuse, but their dad was not around them at all. Yeah. You know, didn't claim him. Well, Eric, more specifically, claimed the oldest, but not Eric. Yeah. But it's clear to see Kendall's difference from Eric, you know? Yeah. So anyway, my dad, like, really gave me a privilege by being in my life. So that's why he was such a big piece in it, too.
Is that what you attribute it to? Not getting involved in so much stuff? Was it really the presence of your dad?
I think so.
Really?
Yeah, I think so. Because I had him around to where, like, I didn't need rappers. Yeah. Or didn't need any kind of other male role models to be my influence, you know? Because, like, I remember being in middle school, I had friends smoking weed and stuff like that. Yeah, like, yo, Jay, smoke. Like, hell nah. Yeah. You ain't gonna make me do nothing I don't want to do. Yeah. Yeah. You know, because I had that self-confidence. Right. Because I had that around. Pops was like my best friend growing up. Like my homie, you know?
He sounds like a great guy.
Yeah, Pops is really dope. He's dope.
He sounds cool.
He's dope. He would sit in the studio with me and we'll like record all those pieces together.
From this album?
Yeah,
the most recent?
Album. Yeah. Yeah. He'll come in like, yo, Dad, want to record something? I'll be there, man. We'll pull up and we just worked on it together. Like just in the studio together.
That's beautiful. Yeah. That's so cool.
Yeah, Pops is dope.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah,
love
he
my
sounds
dad.
great. That's awesome. So when I in your song, I think it was God Knows.
Yes.
There's this last part, and I don't know if it's you talking. Was it you talking?
I think it was Alonzo.
Was it Alonzo? Yes. No shit.
Yeah.
Okay, his words were beautiful. He was talking about how much talent we have in Knoxville.
Yes.
And I mean, that really spoke to me in part, but it was... He mentioned that he's not really sure what's holding us back.
Yes.
Have you put pieces together about that? Like, what makes you think? What do you attribute us being held back is from?
That's a really good question.
Especially in Knoxville, because he compared us to Atlanta.
Yeah.
And I believe that. I think that we have the talent.
So, I'll give you a little backstory to where that sound clip came from.
Yeah, for sure.
So Alonzo was responding directly to a news article that came out about the hip hop scene, and we were heavily featured in it. And the article talked about how like there's a glass ceiling in Knoxville, basically, right? And the whole premise of the article was like the Good God Collective is artists is working to fight against that, you know. Yeah. But yeah, there's this glass ceiling that's blocking them. There's something. So it actually came. He was responding to that article. Yeah. And that voice.
Okay, that makes sense now.
And but yeah, I mean, I think me personally, I believe that it's just not being consistent. Because I know a lot of artists are like get discouraged because they're in Knoxville. Yeah. And they'll give up on their project or whatever they're producing. And that consistency kind of stops there. And like a lot of folks just get discouraged and give up. Yeah. You know, go do something else that's gonna make them money, you know. Yeah. And I believe that's the main barrier speaking as from an artist, because
Yeah.
I know I put out a lot of projects, and there'll be times where I get discouraged. Forget it.
Yeah, you're struggling with your own mental stuff.
Exactly.
I mean, everybody is, yeah.
But yeah, I think it's that, and also, I mean, but Knoxville, they don't really promote hip hop like that, you know, like we did Biggers recently.
Yeah, congratulations on that.
That was
it
amazing.
Awesome?
It was cool, but
but where's the but?
But look,
tell us the but.
I'm gonna tell you straight up.
Tell us.
So I got a collective member by the name of Michael Dion.
Okay.
And my brother grew up with him, dope artist, known him since 3rd grade.
Yeah.
And love that guy. So it's my brother. And he did the performance with us, right? And here's what he said. He said, "Yo, man, it felt like affirmative action."
Damn.
Yeah, let me throw him something. Oh, throw him something. Oh. Yeah, you know. So I didn't say that.
No.
But,
you're like, I didn't have my words.
But I see what he said, though. You know what I mean? So, like, yeah, it's kind of like as the people that kind of control the.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean?
Puppeteering.
Yeah. People that know like this market will work for this. This will work for this. Like people that want their brand to work with the city. So there's a brand in Knoxville that doesn't really include us. So the people that's pushing these shows like look at us. It's like throw them something. They doing something at least, you know.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean. So there's that, and there's also the discouraged thing. So when you got that going on, you're getting discouraged, and then the city ain't really supporting you like that.
Yeah. Is that how Good Guy Collective was kind of formed?
Yes.
Was it in part because of that?
Yeah, because of that issue.
Yeah, that checks out. Tell me about it a little bit.
Yeah,
it's really fucking cool.
Yeah, the collective. So I'm part of the Good Guy Collective.
Yeah.
It's a hip hop organization here in town. And we are going on our 10th anniversary.
Congratulations. That's awesome.
Years in November, being alive. But yeah, the way we formed was really simple.
Yeah.
You know, we're just a group of artists. At the time, we had a band that I was a part of with my cousin, Black Atticus.
Yeah.
And Black Eddie Kane. Black Eddie Kane. Eddie Kane brains. Yeah. Anyway. So I was in a band at that time by the name of The Theorist.
Okay.
So it was a hip hop band. We kind of had like a roots vibe to it. Like we had an article written about us basically saying that we're Knoxville's answer to the roots.
Hell yeah.
So that was the vibe we had.
That's cool.
Like, that kind of live hip hop vibe. But we had like a lot of people that would get involved that that were tight with. So we had a DJ in town that would DJ at our shows. And like this DJ was dope because he was like a part of what started 90.3 The Rock.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah,
cool.
yeah. DJ Wiggs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Small community. Holy shit.
Yeah. And he had this hip hop show there called what was it? What was this hip hop show called? Black Entertainment Hip Hop Show.
Nice. Okay.
Yeah, Edutainment. Yeah. Yeah. So we started playing with him, DJ Wiggs, all the hip hop artists in town, and from there we thought like, you know what, let's get a space.
Let's do something.
And produce together. Yeah. So we got a studio space at the Birdhouse Community Center.
Oh, that's awesome.
And we've been there ever since.
Yeah.
So that's basically where we started. So yeah.
That's cool. Yeah, definitely collaborative. That's beautiful though, because I've seen so many different artists that you featured on there, and it's just you guys are really doing great work. Yeah, it's beautiful.
Yeah, it's all about creating a platform for the artists, you know, giving them space and room, you know, to present the art. But also, I mean, the goal was for us to be thriving artists.
Of course, not just like scrapping.
Yeah. So that's why like merchandise and branding and all that stuff is really important to us because we want all the artists that work with us to be their own businesses.
Well, it seems like you help a lot with that too, because we were just talking about that earlier. It's such a black hole. Yeah. Like getting involved with the internet and social media and basically selling yourself. It almost feels like, I don't know, it just feels grimy. Yeah. And I love that that's what you're kind of helping with more too. It's not just like, here's just the music. It's the whole package. It's what can you bring to this entire community? Yeah. Yeah, it's beautiful.
And that's one positive about Knoxville.
Of course, yeah.
Like, I mean, the barriers, but it's hip hop, right? So with hip hop, if there's not an obstacle that you're overcoming, it's not hip hop. It's not hip hop. You know what I mean? Yeah. So to me, I look at it like, hey, it's dope. It's hip hop. Right. That was my issue with the article originally because I'm like, yo, glass ceiling. We're not worried about a glass ceiling or an obstacle. It's hip hop. Yeah. Like, that's what we do. So that was my issue with the whole notion.
With Alonzo's, the one that he was asserting?
Yeah, what he was talking about, you know. Like, it was like, that's an obstacle, but it's hip hop. We wouldn't exist without those. Yeah. You know, hence the album. You know, the album is based off of something that's really traumatic. It's an obstacle, but if you stay positive, you can flip it.
Yeah.
And use it to your benefit. So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. What is your relationship with the darker sides of emotion? So like anger, sadness. What is your relationship with those? Do you feel like you can deeply connect to them?
Anger.
I feel like the claw from Toy Story.
Yeah, it's the claw. Yeah, they thought they was about to go to heaven. It wasn't the case.
Shut up. Get out of here. Boo.
Yeah. Ooh, the claw. Yeah. So the question is, how do I connect with both of these emotions?
Yeah.
And how do
you feel like you can connect with those emotions?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. How do you feel like you connect with them?
And I feel like with this project in particular, like it allowed me to really look at those emotions in a way to where I can be creative with them.
Okay, cool.
Because typically it'd be something like, oh, I need to avoid that.
Yes.
You know, I don't need to be sad but like within those emotions comes the healing.
Yes.
You got to be able to face those emotions. Yep. So through doing this project, I feel like I've grown a good relationship with them in the sense of, hey, when I'm sad, I need to be okay with it.
Yeah.
And address it and look at it and say, hey, I'm sad. Fuck.
Yes, I gotta cry now.
I gotta cry, bro. Let me cry. Come on. And look, I'm gonna kind of jump a little bit.
Okay, go ahead.
But
I'm with you.
About my father, the piece about my father that helped out with that was that I saw my dad cry before, you know, and it was in a way that was like, okay, yeah, I get it. You're going through something.
Yeah.
So it's okay to express those emotions.
Yes.
Right. And
it's such an infrequent thing
to
see.
And what was crazy to me, like a lot of folks that would see the album and see me emotional on the project, they're like, yo, like, how are you so confident to do that? I'm like, yo,
you gotta do it.
That's what we do. Like, I seen my dad do that, you know, so I can totally see how that can be a challenge for some folks, you know, to not
having never seen it.
Having never seen it from a male, you know, and think like it's not cool. But no, you need to cry. Shit's dope.
Yeah. Shit's dope. It's the best therapy ever.
Shit's dope. Crying is dope.
I do it every day.
Crying is dope.
It is.
And then anger, though, like I think I touch on it in a couple parts on the album about being angry and pissed, you know. But yes, I'm learning peace with that one too.
Yeah, for sure.
Because if you can't address your anger sometimes, then you just stay on the couch and be, you know.
You dissociate.
Yeah, you disintegrate.
Do everything you can to pretend it's not happening.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And you isolate yourself, put yourself in the box.
God, isolation is not talked about. That's a major factor.
It's not good.
No, it just keeps on going. Yeah. It just keeps happening.
This is therapy. Yes. So when you mad, you gotta express the anger. Yeah. So like, and that's another piece. I'm getting comfortable with that too.
Good. I'm proud of you.
So yeah. So both of those emotions are things I'm creatively being comfortable with, and I think more artists should address what makes them sad and angry, and find peace with that.
I feel like more beautiful art comes from that. Like, just embrace it, and when you do it, just something flourishes out of that every time.
Yeah. So there's
you got it. Thank you. Know, you unlocked it. You're there.
Be quiet. Thank you.
Tell me where everyone can find your stuff.
Yes. So you can find me in social media land.
Cool. At the Vortex.
Yeah, the Vortex at JBush, JBUSH 865.
Cool.
Everything.
Cool.
Instagram, YouTube, all that.
Spotify too.
Trying to keep it simple. Spotify.
Yep.
All that. Same URL.
Yes.
So JBush 865.
Cool. I still have so many more questions, but I'm going to let you get going.
Okay.
I think we're going to start a podcast soon, and you're going to be one of the first ones on it.
I have
so many questions.
Let's do it. You guys ever seen Midnight Gospel before?
Oh, it's so good. It's so good.
That shit is what? And they're not doing a season 2.
Did it trip you out?
Yes, and they're not doing a season 2.
No, because it didn't need it. It ended with the mom and the beauty of that episode, and that was another one where I was just like a blubbering mess.
The mom one. Oh my Black.
Shit.
You seen the episode yet?
You gotta see it.
I told you and Kobe.
It'll mess you up.
Y'all both gotta watch that.
Make me want to watch it now.
Y'all gotta watch, dude. Bro.
Yeah. His mom has cancer.
Dude, Black. Dude, you need this one. You need this one.
You need it.
You need this one.
You gonna get this work. What else?
What else?
Shoot.
Keep going. Keep
Say
going.
more. Say more.
Thank you for that question. It was like therapy for me. Thank you for that question.
We'll
about,
have more. I want to
like,
have you on.
pain. Oh, it's over, right? We're done.